What's going on YouTube? Is Donnie B all day, and I have something awesome. Even has a whistle. This, hold on, I don't usually talk about sheaths. I'm not going to talk too much about this masterful, awesome, well done leather sheath, but I'm going to huff it for a little while because that smells good. So anyway, this is the Tops Silent Hero. When I get it into the sunshine, you're going to get a better view of this actual blade and the finish. It's just amazing to be able to see the heat treat, you know, running up and down the blade's edge is just awesome. Now this thing is, I want to say, I think it's 11.5 inches long. It's got a 5 3/4 inch cutting edge on almost a 6.5 inch blade, 1095 high carbon, black linen micarta with Rocky Mountain tread. This is like some kind of like I think they call it Black River wash. I believe that the color is what it's actually called. This knife is basically if Gordon Ramsay and Rambo, you take their DNA and you splice it and you make it a knife, this is what you're gonna get. The shape of the handle gives it a very like a kitchen knife feel to it. You could all see that, but it is not a kitchen knife. This is an all-out survival knife. It is a badass piece of, this is Thor's genitals. I mean, it is awesome. Many people consider this to be the best. It's usually, you know, SE6 and the Silent Hero from Tops, and people for me, the one thing that is a hang up for me is this handle is so small for these hands. If you have 9 1/4 inch hands, this is not going to do it well. When I make a fist, it barely, you know, I mean, I have to squeeze with everything I have, and it still barely fits in my hand. It moves around a lot. As far as some of the features go, lanyard hole. It's got this ridge right here with a double choil. It's got, I mean, a double jimping here. The choil is a good sized choil. It fits my big hands pretty well. Oh, here's something cool too. The Silent Hero Foundation. Every single time you buy one of these knives, which are made in the USA, every single time you buy one of these, a portion of the costs goes to the Silent Hero Foundation, and that's really cool. Now let's talk fit and finish. You won't find pretty much anything better as far as fit and finish. Like the SE, this thing has really attractive red scales. I mean, red liners underneath the scales. I wish that the handle was bigger because this Rocky Mountain tread, a lot of people don't like it. I think it supplies a lot of grip. I actually love that. And for such a small handle, the only thing keeping it in my hand is that Rocky Mountain tread. This little groove right here is where my index finger indexes, and that's what provides me just enough grip to make it work for me. Now, what I was thinking of doing is removing the scales and just making my own liners and just making them thicker, you know what I mean, getting a nice thick, because I feel even though I can't make it this way any bigger really without altering the look or changing the effectiveness, I can make it this way bigger, and I feel if I make it girthier, then it'll actually fit my hand better. And who knows, I mean, this could become, you know, the favorite. I had, you know, between the SE6 and the Steel Wheel Roamer, those three, the Steel Wheel Roamer, the SE6, and the Top Silent Hero, are the 3 best survival knives on the market, in my opinion. Most comfortable, however, for me is the Steel Wheel Roamer in D2 steel. SE just has a premier knife just like this. This is ultra premier. And again, like the SE, the only thing that keeps them from being my top go-to is just not handle construction, but handle fit. But don't let that make it sound like I'm actually complaining, because this is freaking awesome. It's got like a little saber grind going on here. And it's really, really, really cool. And believe me, when I say something negative, oh, the handle, blah, I'm trying to pick something. I'm trying to pick it apart and find something not perfect about this pretty much perfect knife. So if you hear me say something like that, don't say, oh, Donnie B all day said it's bad grip, so we shouldn't buy it. No, buy this. It's freaking incredible. I need to give you something, you know what I mean? So let's go play with it and let the knife actually speak for itself. Come on. All right, so before we get into some crazy usage, I just want to get this out in the sun and show you the coating on this blade. It is absolutely, by far and away, the most beautiful, in my opinion again, blade I've ever seen. It's just gorgeous. To be able to see the actual heat treat is great. Now here's something that a lot of people don't understand about these knives. The heat treat done on these is masterfully done. It's freaking perfect. And a lot of people get angry because they say, oh, you can't create spark with the spine, blah, 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 blah. There's a reason. This is heat treated in a way where they do different heat treats for different parts of the blade. While the edge might have a Rockwell Harding of 58, 60, somewhere in there, the spine does not. They have a softer spine. And what that does is it makes the blade stronger overall. So you're not going to be using this spine to create spark. Get over it. Who cares? You don't need the spine to create spark. This has a 5 3/4 inch cutting edge. When you cut, generally you're using from this point on. You're shaving this way. So if I was able to pick something up, I'm starting from here because that's generally where your grip is going to go. And as you go, see how this works? Look at this. I go down to the tip. You don't usually carve right here. I don't know anybody who does. So if I needed to create spark, I could hold it here and do that. With the last little bit of this edge, that is not going to affect the rest of the knife. You can sacrifice this little bit and dull it just a little bit by using it to produce spark and not worry about the rest of the knife, and you will get spark out of that. Now, as far as how sharp is it? It is shave sharp. Look at that. Hairs just melt away. Look, you got them all over the blade right here. It is awesome. It's so well done, but I told you we're done talking. Let's go play. Let's go play. Survival knives. Can't be a survival knife if it doesn't chop. So let's get a little chopping with it and test the edge here. And we can see right away that it is absolutely devastating as a chopper. I mean, it's going to hack, break, smash, and tear through any piece of wood you hit, right? This thing, it's no joke as a chopper. And let's see, do we have any folds or delam or deviation in the edge? No. Why? Because it's freaking tops. It's a silent hero. It's crazy. It's awesome. It's great. It's fantastic. And it's just all out badass. Try to dig some of this out. I mean, put some pressure on this tip a little bit. Do a little prying action with this tip. Well, that didn't last long, did it? Here we go. Some hard prying. Really put some power into it. I mean, guys, is it straight? Yeah, it's straight. Why? Because it's the tops. Is the tip damaged? No, the tip's not damaged. I don't even need to check before I show you. Clear off some of the caca. It is fan-freaking-tastic. Awesome, awesome, awesome knife. Let's keep going. All right, so this is one of those knives that once I start using it, I don't want to stop. So I have to try hard to eventually end this. So what I'm going to do, just go through some of the basics. Oh, holy, that bites. Go through some of the basics. Show you. Look at this, man. Look at that. Golly, it's a tops. Show you what it does, what it doesn't do. let's see, let's test the balance on this thing. The scales by throwing it have not loosened, have not opened up any, have not changed. From banging it, the scales have not loosened. The balance on this thing is fantastic. And like I said, it's a tops. It's a tops knife. It's tops in every aspect of what a tops is. It's beautiful, it's functional, it's strong. Let's see if we can, we'll choke up on this guy right here. We'll take away some of the skin, and the thing just, it shreds anything I try to put to it, you know. So let's get some, we'll do a little side grip here. Just easy, easy, easy. Man, I love this thing. I love this thing. Yeah, I'll tell you what. I mean, just beautiful. Look at how light and fluffy that is. When it comes to needing to light a fire, no problem. Let's see. Easy, easy money, right? I mean, it shouldn't even be this easy. It's like disrespecting all the blades that can't perform like this. It's like rubbing it in. They're saying, hey, I know you can't, but guess what? We can, and that's all that matters. Thing is badass. Just looking at it, the coating, it just makes me giddy. I could literally just look at this thing all day long like this. I could walk around like this, just pin it to my forehead, and I could just be happy with what I'm seeing all day. Let's go do some more stuff. So I don't know if you're like me and you get some random 1-inch forest trees growing at the end of your driveway and you think, well, that doesn't belong. Well, just with a little OK grip and no power, I'm not going to swing. This thing is just going to dismantle things that don't belong in your driveway. And of course, that hacks me out. Just awesome. It dug in so deep, I threw it out of my hand. It's just so good. So good. Beep. So what I want to do, however, is I want to take this and go chuck it, and I'm pretty sure you guys want to come with me. Come on. All right, guys, so here's something weird. Normally when I buy a new knife, I like to throw it because I enjoy throwing knives. And that's where I get a lot of my knowledge on, you know, how it's going to flight, or how well it's balanced, is by my initial throwing of a knife. And this one I haven't thrown yet. I haven't owned it that long, but long enough to where I should have by now, and I haven't. So what we're going to do is we're going to give it a toss and see if we can't get a land here. And that time I hit the blade, but I hit it up and down rather than across, and anybody who knows throwing, that's a bad throw. And that's what we call a good throw. So that's about 5 yards, right? And wow, this thing really penetrates. One thing I'm finding out about this knife is that the bite you get when you hit some wood, the bite is incredible. It's a drop point. It's not a spear point, and I don't know if it's the edge geometry, the weight distribution, but whatever it is about this blade, for some reason, I mean, it has incredible bite, which I personally like because, you know, that's important when you're talking survival. Other things that are important with survival are the ability to trench, right? And this thing has a really nice thick blade. It's really wide. So when it comes time to trench, no freaking problem. There's no carcinogenic coatings on this. So people who have fears about cancer causing blade coatings, you can do food prep with this and not be scared. It's just a really great knife. What I'll do is I'll put it on the rack and give you a good overall shot of it without my hands all over it, so you can get a good look at what it really looks like. All right, let's go close it out here. All right, so normally I'd close it out on the rack if I'm going to do that, but there's just not a lot of sunshine up there to really show this thing off, so I figured the trampoline will do. Here it is. It's the Tops Silent Hero. The blade, as far as edge and blade strength and blade shape and overall blade beauty, I have to say that of every knife I own, this is my favorite actual blade. I mean, just my favorite actual blade. I love it. This would be, without a doubt, my favorite overall knife, without a doubt, in the survival knife category, if the handle was just a little bit bigger. And that's not a knock on them. That's just the fact that I have gargantuan hands. I'm pretty sure that, you know, the average hand will have, I mean, zero problems holding this. And if you have average hands or smaller hands, this is literally going to be the greatest knife you ever put in your hands. It's phenomenal. The edge stays so sharp no matter what you do with it. The thing flies through the air with nothing but ease when you throw it. It cuts and stabs and penetrates and lacerates and shaves and chops. Any single thing you need this thing to do, it's gonna do, and it's gonna do easily. Do I recommend it? I beyond recommend it. This is the Tops Silent Hero. The thing is fantastic. It's on the ground. Hey, and it even kind of stuck in. So, you know, in closing, is this worth the buy for? And don't look at retail prices, because retail is going to scare you. You can find this for $140-ish all day on like eBay. It's just worth it, guys. Not only that, but they donate to a great cause. So if you're really looking for a supreme, you know, top of the hill type survival knife, something that's going to be your forever blade, the Silent Hero from Tops is definitely something you should be looking at. Outside of that, you know, happy knife hunting. I'm Donnie B all day, and until next knife.